Hi there. This video is entitled Why Neymar and Paul Pogba are the worst possible examples for our players and our children to follow. In short, this comes about because of all the transfer rumours this season, this summer leading up to the new season, with Neymar wanting to push his way out of Paris Saint-Germain and Paul Pogba supposedly wanting to leave Manchester United. Both these players have had 2 to 3 seasons now at their clubs. Pogba, in his case, the club that raised him as a young teenage player and helped set him on the way to become the star that he became at Juventus. Neymar, who became the world's most expensive player when Paris Saint-Germain, through who knows what manner of financial clout, brought him to France for over 200 million euros. Now, before going on, I don't like either of these players. Pogba plays for Manchester United. I'm a Liverpool fan. I can't pretend to say that I like any Man United players, but I didn't like Pogba massively when he was at Juventus either. When it comes to Neymar, Neymar has been, and we'll start with him, Neymar has become a player that many love to hate for a multitude of reasons, whether you think he falls down too easily, whether you think he potentially cheats his way through games, or whether it's simply his social media persona that you can't stand. Neymar has become the embodiment of everything that is wrong with the game of football. From the money that he is on, to the money that was paid for him, to what he does on his day-to-day with his large ensemble of advisors that are all very close to him, his father being his agent. The whole thing strikes as being quite a selfish endeavour for him. I understand, you have to make a living. You're making a living being a professional footballer. When you earn what he does and you have the reputation he does, when you have things given to you, there should be a certain level of professionalism which he does not possess, on the field or off the field. When it comes to Paul Pogba, enough could not be said about his agent and what he's doing. That's his business. He's a wheeler dealer. He gets as much as possible as he can for his clients, and he always puts their interests first, above the club, above loyalty. That is what it's about. It's about the player and getting them as much as you possibly can. Paul Pogba has had these last couple of seasons at Manchester United after a massive move for big money. He was given the captaincy of Manchester United under Jose Mourinho and eventually had it stripped, which coincidentally Neymar was stripped of the Brazilian captaincy earlier this year before the Copa America. So there is obviously issues there. But when it comes to how us as coaches or parents affect our children and influence them and ask for certain behaviours and have certain expectations for how they live, the decisions that they make, there's nothing to be gained by this modern day social media star footballer, because everything's about them. Everything's about them, regardless of whether they have a charity. Every professional footballer has a charity. It's sort of a thing that they are asked to set up because of the amount of money they own, so that it puts them in a slightly better name. But the example on the field from Pogba is lethargic, uninterested half the time, frustrated at everybody else, but not performing with the vigour and intensity that one would expect of a player that cost Manchester United so much money, as a World Cup winner, as a former captain of Manchester United, and as the star player that the club is looking to build around. It doesn't exist. And very few Manchester United fans would, I think, disagree with that. I think everybody wants to see more from Paul Pogba. Neymar plays for every foul and every touch. I don't think many people could disagree with that either. But there is a laziness and a lack of interest in playing as part of a team. It is entirely about him. So for me, who wants to teach my players how to value a team, how to value a teammate, how to value a system of play, how to become a respecter of the game, which is something that Real Madrid teaches from the very early ages. It's about respect. If you don't respect your elders, if you don't respect the club, if you don't respect yourself, and you don't respect the team and the people that have got you where you are, then there is nothing else. You've lost your respect, you lose everything else. And my concern is, as this social media age continues, as kids have more and more access to videos, online chat groups, more exposure to almost anything, the more and more they're going to be taking example after these star players without giving proper thought as to what they actually represent. I think every coach would say they would expect 100% when players go on the field. We want players to show a strong interest, to show motivation, to play above themselves as best they can, to reach the top end of their levels, and not be satisfied with anything else, to find what you can do and go for it. And it just... The frustration is that there doesn't seem to be the examples laid out for us by the professional players anymore. These big stars that are in the peak of their careers, if we take away someone like Lionel Messi, who's still one of the best, the best in the world, despite being in the age he is. But these players that are mid to mid 20s, where's the respect gone? Where has the drive and the leading by example gone? I understand they're young players. Was I the best example when I was 22, 23, 25? No, probably not. But when you are put in that situation where you earn the money you do, you're on the front page of magazines, you're in everybody's home that loves the game of soccer, and you play that game as your career, and you inspire hundreds of thousands of young kids all around the world, the expectation is that you hold yourself to the highest of standards on and off the field. And I don't see it anymore. I don't see it anymore. And so it puts the coaches of the youth teams in a very important bracket. And I was talking with someone this morning, and you suddenly, the more you break coaching down, especially if you're a parent or a young parent, you have expectations for your children. Do you have the same expectations for other people's children, the ones that you coach? And I think they have to parallel. You can't expect more from one group over the other. Just as I would expect the discipline that I expect from my children, I would expect the same from the players that I coach. The same work ethic, I would expect the same from them. The same respect, the same honor, the same care of oneself. As a coach, you have the responsibility to maintain yourself in the highest possible level of professionalism as well. If you want your players to be healthy, in shape, ready to go, motivated, and you walk up to a game or a training session with a soda or or even a massive coffee, or you sit down on the bench and complain about how hot it is, but then you expect your players to give what you're not giving with their less mature minds, less mature bodies, isn't right. And I think it's time that we take lessons from the professional game. The players that are role models, that give 100% no matter what age they are, what part of the career, what level they're playing at. They're the model professional. And as coaches, do we have role models? Do we have the ultimate professionals that we look up to? Look at Pep Guardiola, or Jurgen Klopp, or Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds. The meticulous detail they put into every session, every conversation, every tactical breakdown, every game, every transition in a game. It's planned out. And it's not fair to say, well, look at the position they are in the game, or look at the amount of people they have working for them. I get it. But if we as coaches don't process and self-evaluate what our motivations are, what our purpose is, what our plans are, we are not going to achieve what we can in terms of communicating to the players, and the players are never going to reach the maximum level as to what they can through your coaching. And so this is the point. If we plan out the sporting side of it, the footballing side of it, but we reject or treat as a second-class citizen the lifestyle choices, the decision making, the human part of sports people and young athletes, are we truly doing credit to those young people, to ourselves, and to this great sport of football? I don't believe we are. I think it has to be more than that now. And in as much that the psychological side of it, the parental side of it, the role model example of it, in terms of good decisions, good perspective, honest opinions, self-evaluation, honesty, but also constructive criticism in the right levels, talking things through, good communication, how to deal with failure, how to deal with success, praise in abundance, belief and trust in those children and in yourself. Those are the qualities that help mold and develop future star athletes. And I think we get so caught up in teaching the sport that we forget about these young people that need role models more than anybody else. So as you move forward, planning sessions or coaching, whether it be voluntary or paid, in whatever level and age or gender that you coach in, take a minute to think about each one of your players, what you know about them. And if you don't come up with anything in beyond their age and their name, think about it. Think about what impacts them, what may have impacted them, how you can help support them in a good, above board kind of way. If they struggle in school, and you've heard little snippets, they might struggle in school, praise their intelligence when they make a good decision. Believe in them, show belief in them. And if anything the English game can teach us is that you don't have to be the smartest person academically to be a superb athlete. But bit by bit, you as a coach can help inspire these children to seek after more, to yearn for more, and to not rest until they have developed themselves as far as they can go. So challenge yourself. Don't give up. And don't just stop at knowing the game. Know your players, know the people you work with, and know yourself. And look and strive for that ultimate package that you can bring to a coach, to your youth team.